Wargo, team pilot with Hobbyking and Precision Aerobatics. Today we're going to do the number 2 sequence in my little series on flying deliberately and flying aerobatics, and this is for a bit more advanced beginner or maybe beginning level of an intermediate pilot. And we're going to do some aerobatics with this, which is a Tundra. They're not going to be complicated, but once again, you're going to see how difficult it is to fly straight. And again, this series is designed to help you fly more deliberately. We want you to be flying the plane and not the plane to be flying you. Once again, the sequences are short. They're just a part of your flight. So you add any type of aerobatics you're capable of. Everybody who's watching this who's going to attempt it has a different skill level. So utilize some of the stuff you have in your skill level, but make sure you do these as part of your routine. I mean, even if I'm flying a big jet or a big aerobatic airplane, these maneuvers are fine as part of my routine, and then I'll add more complex stuff later. So check it out and see if you can piece this routine together yourself. Okay, well, this will be the intermediate, well, I guess the more advanced beginner sequence. It's a first real intro into some aerobatic maneuvers like an Immelman and split S and things like that. But this one I'm going to do with an EDF. I'll probably show you a little bit of that done with the Tundra as well. But here's the sequence, and as always, we're going to start with a nice, just smooth, low takeoff. Here we go. Nice, long, smooth takeoff. Let the plane just rise. Perfect. Pull the gear up, square it off, fly straight, square off, fly straight. I'm a little higher on purpose. We're going to do a nice little aileron roll. That's the sequence. From here, we're going to do a nice little U-turn back to the runway, and we are going to fly straight down the runway as low as we're comfortable. I love doing these very low, and most of the time it's not that hard. So there's a nice low pass, a lot of wind buffeting it around. We're going to make a nice U coming out. Now we're going to do 2 aerobatic maneuvers. We're going to start with an Immelman, which is we're going to pull back, and over the top we're going to roll back to vertical, to a normal flight. Up to the top, roll the aircraft, and now we're flying the other direction. Now this is the opposite, it's a split S. We're going to roll the aircraft and pull just like a half loop. So here it is, we're going to roll, and we're going to pull in a half loop right across the bottom and fly down the runway again. I'm doing a lot of adjusting for straight. And as we were saying with the other one, it's very difficult to fly straight. And that's what we're trying to do today. We're trying to make you fly straight and purposeful. And now here's an optional maneuver. This is a Cuban 8. A little more difficult, but if you watch, we're going to pull for a half loop. And as we're coming down, we're going to roll it to the same angle. When we come to the bottom, we're obviously just trying to make an 8. We're going to go up over the top. And on the way down, we're going to try and roll it back to normal again. This one wasn't very pretty. It does not matter. All that matters is that you're deliberate and you're flying something rather than just letting the airplane fly you. I'm going to do a loop, show center, because I love that maneuver. Starting now, we're going to pull to a loop over the top.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Now we're going to set up. Now we're going to set up for a landing. My power is actually over. So we're going to drop our gear. I'm going to set flaps at half. We got a lot of wind, so I'm probably not going to go to full flaps today. But we're going to make a nice turn on base. Starting relatively low. Turn towards the center of the runway, nose pointed at me, just the way my training videos do. And now we're going to find the center of the runway. It's crabbing a little bit, but we're going to hold it off and have a nice landing. Good. Like I keep saying, long, nice, long, smooth takeoff. Let the plane come up, stay low, and stay straight right down the runway. It's all about being deliberate. We're gonna make a nice squared off turn, go 90 degrees. Squared off turn, 90 degrees again. Now we're parallel with the runway. All right, now we're on our downwind leg, and we are just gonna do a nice aileron roll. And now on the other side of the runway, just like the other sequence, we're going to do a nice U-turn back to the runway. And we're going to bring the plane as low as you're comfortable to show center. And that gives yourself a nice look at the aircraft and the audience a good look at the aircraft. But again, we're flying straight. Wind is buffeting us around quite a bit, but we're going to try and fly straight. Next part is a nice little U-turn back to downwind. But this time, we are going to do an Immelman turn. And what happens with that is we are just going to pull back on the stick, come over the top, and roll out. A little bit sloppy because of the wind, but it just doesn't matter. It was purposeful and deliberate, just like we talk about. The next maneuver is going to be a split S to come back. So we're flying level, we're going to roll it and pull back like it's the other half of a loop, and we're going to fly straight again. Now we're going to do exactly what we did before, and we are going to bank the wings, come right back down the runway, but this time I think I'd like to do a loop, so we're going to do a loop right at show center. Our power is waning a little bit, but we still have enough for the loop. Again, parallel to the runway.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Wind is really blowing us around here, so now at this point, we can... All right, we're going to do one of the optional maneuvers here, which is a Cuban 8. And what that is we're going to start level, we're going to pull up, and we're going to come over the top, and on the way down we're going to roll out. This is fairly ugly and fairly tight, but it's the nature of this aircraft. It's not an aerobatic aircraft.
1 minute.
Up over the top, and on the way down we're going to roll it to level again. And again, it's not how beautiful the maneuvers are, because this one just doesn't want to do it, which would be considered in any way perfect. All right, we're going to do another kind of an optional thing, and that is if you have trouble with the roll, you can always do it at a 45-degree angle up. And that way, you give yourself a little more margin for error,
10,
and it's a little
9,
easier. It's
8,
hard to roll straight
7,
and a lot
6,
easier
5,
to roll at an
4,
angle.
3.
All right, now we're going to set up for landing. So we are on a downwind leg. We're going to make a nice bank,
1 minute
making
over.
sure we do not get too low. And find ourselves right over the runway again. And we're going to let the plane slow itself down, keep it off the ground, keep it off until it gets slower and slower and slower, and land it.